So, South Park just came back for its 27th season after more than 2 years gone, and wow, they dropped a giant bomb. This one is causing a huge stir online, and you probably already know what it's about. It's about Donald Trump and the state of America, the change in culture past post woke, so much in this episode. And in my opinion, I give it an 8 out of 10, which, I'll get into a little. But I think not only was this episode really good, this actually, and I don't know if they just naturally did this because they're just good at doing commentary on society. This really was a very unique and uncanny approach that I really have not seen often, especially when it comes to Trump. I feel like they did something, and of course, it's bothered the White House. They've done something a little unique that I never expected to see from anti Trump comedy. Now, of course, conservatives are a little upset at this episode, which it makes sense. Personally, I mean, South Park makes fun of everyone, so I don't get why conservatives are like shocked at this. I mean, they make fun of the left as well. So, but it's very interesting because this may actually be the most unique way of taking on Trump that I've seen from honestly any piece of media outside of The Daily Show when Jon Stewart talks about Trump. And I do plan on getting into that in a future video about why Jon Stewart is just so unique and does something that a lot of other anti-Trump comics can't do. Anti-Trump comedy sucks. It's not funny, it's very pretentious, and it's just very annoying. Basically, all anti-Trump art these days, and honestly the entire time he's been relevant, is basically fascist Cheeto orange, comparing him to the mustache man in the 40s and his the National Socialists. I don't know if I can say that word and keep this video up. But yeah, that's basically been the entire criticism of Trump, and it just gets very like repetitive, idiotic, and then of course they'll criticize Trump for his like mannerisms, small hands, like it's just anti-Trump comedy. It's just their form of resistance, and we saw this a lot in the first Trump term, has always been kind of stupid because Donald Trump has never really been popular, so you're kind of preaching to the choir. So, what South Park did was very unique in the sense that they actually took an approach on Trump that works and actually holds water, which is they didn't focus on consistently just spamming the fact that, oh, he's a fascist dictator. No, what they did instead is they focused on one key thing about him, that he has a giant ego and he's very insensitive, he's very insecure, that he's very narcissistic. They focused on all of his qualities. They focused on the hypocrisy of, him, and of course how the right claims to be pro free speech, but then of course when it's speech they don't like. I mean, the guy Trump has run on banning flag burning. That is absolutely anti free speech. In a way, it kind of defangs a lot of the right's attacks of, oh, we're pro free speech, and I can't believe woke snowflakes on the left are getting offended at stuff. And by the way, like this episode says, that stuff is true. I do think, yes, the left does have a problem with, of course, sensitivity and, the like all of these things are absolutely true. However, the right is also as guilty of that. And it's something we don't commonly see, which is that the right is, and Donald Trump in particular, is not a bastion of free speech and freedom. No, he's insecure, he's very egotistical, and this episode focuses on just that. I think that the lawsuit stuff, um, I personally don't know how much the CBS Colbert thing had to do with politics. The show just wasn't making CBS money. But South Park, the way that they went about this, because it's true, Trump has been suing a lot of universities. He's sued ABC, he sued CBS for a 60 Minutes interview he didn't like. He's Basically, he tried to sue Bill Maher over a joke in 2015. Donald Trump, like the entire point of this episode has been to essentially kind of beat him at his own game in a way where it kind of shows him off, and it does it in a way where it doesn't just seem like, oh, I'm just trying to pander to the left. Now, of course, they're happy about this because again, anti-Trump is still gonna make the left happy, but I don't even think they realized how Trey Parker and Matt Stone are attacking him. um, the the real reason why this has also gotten to Trump and the White House, and they were really mad about this today, is that I really feel like it kind of proves the point that they were trying to make. And this actually follows a similar trend because 2 years ago they made fun of um the Prince and Meghan. I don't know their names, but they're a royal family couple who were consistently going everywhere but saying they want privacy, and they were making fun of that, and their response was to sue South Park for that episode. Um Basically proving their point. And in this case, here's the thing. Do I think Trump is gonna sue Comedy Central, Paramount for this episode? No. I don't think he's gonna do that. But the fact is, the way the White House has reacted to this has kind of just shown, because Donald Trump could have gone along with the joke, and he could, like, the White House could have said, yeah, maybe we'll sue them, we'll get to it, like half-hearted replied to it, maybe told Trump, hey, make a joke about this on Truth Social. No, they got mad about it because this is an attack on Trump that holds, and it matches a lot of the things he's done in his presidency, like regarding the tariffs, the lawsuits, his crackdown on flag burning, basically how he gets mad at any criticism of him. Even if it's someone like Elon, who honestly, Elon is kind of worse than Trump in my opinion. It just it it defangs him in such a perfect way, and I wish anti-Trump comedy could do this more. The problem is the resist crowd, generally speaking, is their politics don't align in a way where maybe that would match, or maybe they're just too angry. And I think Trey Parker and Matt Stone aren't. And also, I don't think this is an indictment on the right the way that they think. I think this is just attacking Trump for how he is personally. They kept it personal to him. They basically show, yeah, he's just like egotistical. And it's kind of fun. It has a good time with it. And honestly, you know, it's a piece of criticism where I feel like it perfectly makes fun of him and clowns on him in a way that works, and it also kind of sets in motion, like it kind of could be, and of course it's not going to be, but it could be kind of a bit of a wake up call where I feel like the right could learn from this and think, yeah, maybe we shouldn't maybe we shouldn't be so keen on doing our own anti-free speech things when we're offended. And yeah, I like that South Park is an ardent supporter of free speech, and I like the fact that for once an anti-Trump thing didn't annoy me, and they very much could have gone in that direction. My only fear is that, well, maybe they lean into it too much as the season goes along, but I feel like Trey Parker and Matt Stone and, people at Comedy Central, like even Jon Stewart, this entire year he could have just become a resist lib with just shitty anti-Trump humor. By the way, Stephen Colbert is a good example of shitty anti-Trump humor. I cannot listen to that guy. His audience is just boomers that hate Trump. But I feel like I feel like they can manage this well in a way where the criticism of Trump does not become partisan, and it just focuses solely on him and his actions, instead of just leaning into the cringe, typical generic stuff you're used to. Um, there are a few things I did not like about the episode. I personally think that Trump ad at the end was, I mean, I get why they put it, and I do think that was a funny little advert, but I mean, look, I'm all for Trey Parker and Matt Stone's very raunchy humor. Yeah, I love it, but I didn't need to see that part of him, with the eyes, you know. I do think at some points the show kind of leaned a little too much into repeating the same point over and over again. Even when it was bashing like wokeness in like with Cartman, I think that was kind of but and I feel like the episode was a little too, when you have 20 minutes for that, they kind of it felt a little rushed at times, but it didn't take away from the overall point and it was still really funny. So, yeah, I mean, my advice to conservatives, it literally look, don't be offended at them. Think to yourself, yeah, Trump should stop doing that. And to the left, for all of you who have been shitting on South Park and thinking it's like some alt-right show, no, they've never been on anyone's side and they never will be, hopefully, because that's what makes them special. So, yeah, both sides can calm down. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to rant about this. It's good episode. Good job, South Park. Glad to have you back.